The forest floor was a tapestry of silver and black. Moonlight filtered through the canopy, painting stripes across the leaves and gnarled roots. A young girl walked cautiously, her small hand brushing against the damp ferns. Every rustle of leaves sent shivers down her spine. This thing was watching her from the shadows. Two emerald eyes pierced the darkness, glowing like embers in the undergrowth. The girl gasped, her breath catching in her throat. A low growl rumbled through the trees, sending a tremor through her small frame. She could make out the shape of a wolf, its lean muscles tensed, its teeth bared in a silent snarl. Fear, raw and primal, surged through her. She had heard stories whispered around campfires, tales of wolves that stalked the night, their howls echoing through the darkness. This creature was a predator, a hunter of the night. She was an easy target, alone and lost in its domain. But there was something in the wolf's gaze that stopped her from running. It wasn't just hunger she saw in its eyes, but a strange intelligence, a watchful curiosity. It held her gaze, its body still as a statue, as if assessing her, weighing her. She didn't feel threatened anymore. There was a strange sense of peace emanating from the wolf, a calmness that soothed her own frayed nerves. It was as if it understood her fear, her loneliness. She took a tentative step forward, her hand outstretched, palm open in a gesture of peace. The wolf tilted its head, its ears twitching at the sound of her soft voice. She spoke of her fear of being lost and alone, her voice trembling at first, then gaining strength as the words tumbled out. As she spoke, the wolf seemed to relax further, its body losing its rigid tension. It watched her with an unnerving intensity, its head cocked to one side as if listening to her every word. When she finished, the wolf let out a soft whine, a sound that seemed more mournful than threatening. From that moment, a fragile bond formed between the girl and the wolf. She named him Shadow, for that's what he had been at first, a fearsome shadow in the night. But Shadow proved to be more than just a protector. He became her companion, her guide through the dense and unforgiving jungle. They traveled together, the girl and the wolf, their unlikely friendship blossoming with each passing day. Shadow led her along hidden paths, his keen senses alerting her to danger. He hunted for food, sharing his spoils with her, his eyes glowing with a silent pride when she accepted his offering. The jungle, once a place of terror, became a wonderland of discovery. Shadow showed her hidden waterfalls and sun-dappled clearings. He taught her to read the language of the forest, to identify the calls of birds, the rustle of prey, the scent of danger. The girl and Shadow froze, their senses on high alert. A low growl rumbled through the undergrowth, a sound that sent shivers down their spines. It was a sound that spoke of power, of danger, of a predator at the top of the food chain. They were in a small clearing surrounded by dense foliage. The girl's hand instinctively went to Shadow's thick fur, seeking comfort in his presence. He tensed beneath her touch, his muscles coiled like spring. Nimble and quick, narrowly avoided the blow, but the lion was relentless, its attacks becoming more furious with each passing moment. The girl, her heart pounding in her chest, knew she had to do something. She couldn't just stand there and watch as Shadow fought for her life. She grabbed a fallen branch, its end sharpened to a point, and charged into the fray, her small frame fueled by a surge of adrenaline and a desperate need to protect her friend. She aimed for the lion's flank, her small arms trembling with effort as she thrust the makeshift spear forward. The lion, distracted by Shadow's relentless attacks, didn't see her coming. The spear found its mark, piercing the lion's side, drawing a roar of pain from the beast. But the victory was short-lived. The lion, enraged by the unexpected pain, swatted the girl aside as if she were a bothersome insect. She flew through the air, landing with a sickening thud against the base of a tree. The world spun, darkness encroaching at the edges of her vision. As Section 8, Whispers of the Forest. The forest held its breath, Birds ceased their songs, monkeys froze on branches, their playful chatter silenced. Even the insects seemed to still their constant hum. The air itself felt heavy, thick with anticipation and a growing sense of dread. The lion, wounded but still a fearsome predator, turned its attention back to Shadow. Its amber eyes, now burning with a cold fury, seemed to pierce through the wolf, promising a swift and brutal end. Shadow, battered and bruised, his fur matted with blood, knew he couldn't win this fight, but he would not yield. He would protect the girl, even in death. He lunged at the lion, his teeth bared in a silent snarl. The lion swanced in the undergrowth, taking on menacing shapes. The air crackled with an unseen energy, as if the very spirit of the jungle was gathering its strength. The forest would not stand idly by as its own was threatened. Section 9. Sanctuary. Shadow, ignoring his own pain, let out a mournful howl, a sound that echoed through the silent trees. It was a cry for help, a plea for a miracle. The lion, momentarily startled by the sound, hesitated, its gaze darting around the suddenly oppressive forest. It was just a moment, a heartbeat in time, but it was all Shadow needed. He darted forward, his body a blur of motion. He slammed into the lion's wounded flank, his teeth sinking into the soft flesh. The lion roared in pain, its attention diverted from the girl. It was a desperate gap falling on a narrow opening in the undergrowth, a hidden path masked by vines and fallen branches. It was a long shot, but it was their only hope. Gathering the last of his strength, he gently nudged the girl towards the opening, his body a shield against further danger. With a final defiant growl at the bewildered lion, he urged the girl into the hidden path, following close behind. The forest, as if sensing their escape, closed ranks, the vines and branches intertwining to conceal their passage. The lion, its anger momentarily forgotten, stared after them.